Okay, for this demo, I'm actually going to make a small form using the paperboard and duct tape technique. This technique has a few more steps than some of the other ways of doing this and making our actual mold, but quite often you can start off with a form that is much more of a shape you're interested in, or a shape that's going to make just a really nice, pleasing, aesthetically interesting sculpture. So first what I'm going to do is, we'll start off all the way at the beginning. I just took duct tape and layered it on here. As you can see, it's overlapped by probably a good 1/4 inch on each one, so that way I know that this is really sealed. If my duct tape is not on here well, it's not going to do anything for me. I really need to get this sealed because this is my only line of defense as far as making this mold waterproof. Okay, I'm first just going to cut off the extra little flaps here so I have a more rectangular area to start with. Okay, for this form, I have no preconceived idea of what I'm going to do, and I recommend lots of you doing that as well. Just start and getting out some paperboard and just start playing with it and making shapes. One nice thing is this already has some creases in it, which I can capitalize if I want to have a nice hard edge. That's already created for me. So I'm just going to flex it around in a couple shapes, tear off a couple pieces of tape to kind of hold it down, and see where this goes. Kind of like that. So I'm just going to put some tape down to hold it there first. So now I have to seal that inside edge to be able to make sure that it's waterproof. I can put tape down in that corner, but right now I'm going to seal it all from this outside and just make sure it's really closed very well, and just keep checking to make sure it's nice and tidy on the interior. Corners and points want to leak the most. There's a lot of pressure down in there, so really make sure you seal those up good. I'm going to go over it a couple times actually. Okay, that one edge is all sealed. Since I had the box work for me, I have these nice angles already going. There's this little gap in here that's going to probably get filled with plaster, so I'm going to squeeze it closed and put some tape on the inside here to stop that opening. Alright, so even though I taped on the inside, everything's nice and smooth and tidy still inside there. So now I'm going to try to figure how I want to close the rest of this up. Okay, we're getting there. Now again, while the outside does look a little messy, that's not important. It's the inside, and you can see how relatively tidy that is in there, hopefully. So now I'm going to just try to take this top piece, find a way to sit it on that it looks pretty good to me, and then trace it. So I could leave this open and just pour plaster right into there, but as a result I have a low spot here, so I'm going to have to hold it at an angle. If I hold it at an angle like this to get that level, I'll not get plaster in this top corner. If I cover this, I can find a more boring side, like where it's really flat here, where it's really flat here, and I can put a hole, put our funnel in it like this, and then I'll get all of my points will be captured and no air will be stuck in them. Here, if I close this off and I pour here, there'll be an air bubble in the top corner. So I'm first going to just continue on and close this off. What I'm going to do to trim it up some is I'm just going to tape it down on the edge that meets the best, which is over here. So if I had a really crazy shape, although mine I have a nice corner here that I can make this meet, but if the shape wasn't correct, and was really hard to line up, I could do this, put it down, then I could take a Sharpie and trace that edge, take it off, cut it, and then it'll fit right on. But this one, I have this edge here that's already all pretty much right there, that once I put tape on it, I'm gonna be able to cut it around the rest of the form and do it in place. Again, before I put this last piece on, double check and make sure the inside of your mold is all closed up very well. If need be, hold it up to the light. If you can see light through it, put more tape on it. You can never have too much duct tape on it. Again, last piece, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna put it in place, and this one I can only seal from the outside, so I need to kind of take extra precautions with it. I'm gonna tape these edges and work around so that way I don't accidentally cut too much off after playing with the cardboard and moving it side to side a little. I wanna make sure I definitely have enough on this side. Tearing the tape in thin strips makes it easier to go around corners. It doesn't have to wrinkle up as much. Okay, so there's my form, all closed up. Again, the outside is not all that pretty, but hopefully you'll be able to see that I'll have a bunch of nice edges and things to start with. As far as carving, I think this form will start off as something pretty interesting already. When it comes time to pour it, looking at it now, I would probably end up putting a hole in it, and we'll probably pour it right here. That way I can get all of my corners and points to have plaster in them without air bubbles. That's all I have for you guys now. Have a good one.